All right, we are now live and recording. Your lecture chat saying, "So, brothers, rough day." Yeah, I feel that, Joe Matt. Been a bit of a rough week for myself, but we must push through. We must push through. Oh, geez, we got a few people saying haven't had a productive day, haven't felt that great. Yeah, swagger boy pushing P. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I like to hear. Good, cop those dubs. All right, boys. We'll just let the lecture room fill up. But while people are still joining in, I'll just give you a quick little rundown as to what's been going on for me. It's been a bit of a rough week. I think I may actually have like the Omicron variant of COVID. So I was out last weekend for my friend's birthday, and then yeah, I started feeling really run down. I'm okay and everything, just itchy throat, shitty cough, just feeling like shit in general. So please excuse me if I feel a bit bad. If I feel a bit bad, if I sound a bit bad, even it ain't that cool. It's just yeah, just one of those things. Appreciate it, bro. You like you like the uniform? Hey man, maybe one day you'll join up and you'll get a uniform just like that. You need this to develop in one night. All right. Yeah, this is gonna be the lecture for you, my brother. Don't worry. You donated blood for the first time this week. Oh, well done, brother. Honestly, big shout out to you, man. Really proud of you for doing that. From a medical perspective, I cannot stress enough just how many people need, you know, universal blood or even special blood. Just there's always people who need blood. Marrow is also another thing. It's yeah, big dub for you, Swagger. All right, yeah. Weather over here has been pretty crap too. Anyone else living in the UK, specifically like near the south, like Bushy, London, Watford, Hertfordshire, that kind of area? Can't say about the rest of the UK, but oh my god, it's been horrible. Kent, yeah. I'm gonna be in Kent next week, actually, Husky. Funnily enough. So yeah, I hate to start this off on like some sort of emotional roller coaster, guys, but one of the reasons why I'm also doing this presentation is so I found out that my uncle has been diagnosed with very aggressive liver cancer, and my uncle, he was a ex-army officer in the Royal Tank Regiment. His name's Uncle Mike, and yeah, my mum just gave me the news, so we're gonna visit him in Kent next week. I'll find out where specifically. But yeah, we're gonna visit him next week and just visit him and just see how he's doing. Doctors say that they give him like what, maybe 3 5 months tops. So being another member of the armed forces, I think that this is a very good sort of lesson to deliver. Yeah. So if you guys don't mind, because I know he also likes to watch my channel, and this will go up on uh, on the channel once it's recorded. Could we just get some Adonises for Uncle Mike, please? I think that would bring a smile to his face. Appreciate it, boys. Thank you, man. Thank you. Honestly, I love the community here. I love you guys so much. Genuinely. Thank you, boys. All right. Promise. That's that's the last of my emotional ass you guys are gonna get. Let's get on with the lecture. Okay. So today we're gonna talk about the the soldier's guide to detachment, and just what it's sort of what it entails exactly. Now, this lecture is going to be relatively short and sweet compared to my last one. We're just going to cover lessons that were taught to me during basic training, which I think can be translated universally. Um, Ronan, check your audio settings, check your output settings maybe. If you just right click the headphones in your Discord panel, and just make sure you've got your headphones or your speakers enabled. Yes, this is being recorded right now, so it will be put up on my channel and posted here for you guys to watch it later. Thanks, guys, man. Appreciate the love for Uncle Mike. All right, so we're into this. So while I was going through basic training and as I transitioned through my career in the army, um, I was I was I was taught the following principle when it comes to operating in the field, whether you're in a conflict zone, on a friendly exercise, or just a general training simulation. When it comes to admin in the field and taking care of yourself and ensuring the utmost success that you reach your goal, the following principle needs to be applied. For yourself from the ground up as the basic soldier, you would apply the principle of my rifle, my equipment, myself. And I'm going to break this down. So when I talk about the the mindset behind this philosophy, the reason why you take care of your rifle first is because when you're in an active conflict zone, your rifle is going to be the instrument rather, that protects you and more importantly, the guys beside you, right? When you're in an area of conflict, whatever it may be. Okay, we're going to use this as an analogy because I'm not expecting you guys to start visualizing yourselves going to war, but let's just say you're in a social environment. Okay, your rifle is your most important tool in your arsenal, and your rifle in this case is your your values, your ethics, your your voice, right? Because your words have meaning. Words have so much potency behind them. So we must take care of our rifle, okay? Because an inoperable or a dirty, an unclean or unkept serviceable rifle is going to jam. And if that jams, that's going to lead to you potentially losing your life, or even worse, your buddy losing their life, and you stand there and you're unable to do anything about it. The same can be said for, say, for example, you're in a typical schoolyard environment, or school playground environment, and your local bully's trying to start some shit on you and your mates. And if you don't use the courage and apply the principles and values that you've been sharpening, refining here within this server, well, then what's the point? Because once words have been sort of let go into the ether, they all hold weight. They all, it's there. Once something's said, it can't be taken back. So we have to take care of our biggest tool, right? Which is our voice. You can even say this is your mind, your mindset. You can adapt this to any sort of principle that you would like. But you have to take care of the thing that's going to provide protection to you and those around you. Okay, especially for you young men who are looking to join the military, this is going to be such a crucial skill for you to learn. But you can use this in pretty much any other philosophy or avenue of life. Okay? The next area that we're going to focus on is your equipment. And the equipment goes into everything from a soldier's arsenal to ammunition, water, batteries, your canteen, your mess tins, your sleeping mat, sleeping system, etc. Right? The equipment carrier that you put everything into, all right? You can adopt this principle if you're a student, for example. You can adopt this by taking care of your school supplies, your stationery, your bags. Take care of your clothing, your shoes, okay? Because it's very important that you carry yourself with a sense of dignity. You carry yourself with a sense of purpose. Okay. And believe me, guys, believe me, people notice these things. I've been out of the army for about a year now, but I still, to this day, have like sneakers and trainers that I've had for like 2-3 years, every time I go out, people ask me, "Oh my god, are those brand new? I don't see them on, I don't see them on the shelves in JD or Nike or wherever. Where did you get them?" And I tell them I just take good care of my stuff. And it's almost like people start to move different around you when they see that. Now, when you apply this principle to your lifestyle, not only will you stand out in the masses, but it also gives you that reassured sense of self-worth and sense of self-purpose, because you are now emphasizing that you are worthy of building yourself up, right? You are worthy of elevating yourself. In order to elevate, we must separate. And so you separate yourself from your former habits, right? In this Discord server specifically, we talk about going from the Jeffrey to the Adonis mindset. The only way that is possible is if you separate. If you separate from Jeffrey, naturally you will elevate to Adonis. So adopting this principle, I would say, is just as important as taking care of the fundamentals, servicing your defense system, servicing your mindset, right? And we work on doing this by, applying the holistic principles of meditation, fitness, mindfulness, going out and like literally touching grass, going out and being one with nature. We need to do this so that we can bring ourselves and remind ourselves to stay balanced and within the center. And then the last aspect of my theory is, well, yourself. So we take care of our weapon, we take care of our equipment, because those are going to help us become the most operationally effective. And then yourself comes last. Now, this may seem a bit odd, right? Why have I just been talking about doing things that are an extension of you, but not actually taking care of yourself, even though it creates a feedback loop into yourself? This is what I mean by this, okay? By taking care of the things that help you with your behavior and adopting new ideals, you are naturally taking care of yourself. So when it comes to focusing on yourself, you don't need to put that much of an emphasis in on it, because you naturally start to transform. So when we look at this theory of my rifle, my equipment, myself, when we get to the self part, that there is just, it's already things that you've already started to adopt, okay? This is part of self-care. And by doing so, by continuously honing these skills, right? I call them the pillars of self-improvement, self-development. By refining these skills, you will naturally start to change yourself. You'll see that your disposition to life changes, okay? And by default, the world will change to you. Because make no mistake, gentlemen, the world does not revolve around you. You revolve around the world. And in doing so, when you change your behavior, you change your mindset. Have you noticed how all of a sudden things in life start to change with you? People start to look at you different. It's just like, just go back to something as typical as, working out. Once you pack on a bit of muscle, all of a sudden that girl that used to pass you up every single time starts to look at you. It might just be a glance, but guess what? She looked at you. She acknowledged your presence. And then you carry on, and she looks again. And more people look. And then your friends start to say, "Hey man, what's going on? You're looking kind of buff, you're looking kind of lean. You've been hitting the gym, bro? Whoa, you're looking good. What's your program? What are you doing?" The same goes for your mindset. And I would say the mind is the most important muscle, the most important tool that we have, really, when it comes to living our lives. So now that I've rounded off this segment of how we can refine, sharpen, take care of, our defense system, aka our proverbial rifle, right? We do that by instilling the values of selflessness, self-actualization through self-improvement, taking care of your equipment, taking care of your faculties, your resources. Okay, absorb all the knowledge that you can. Watch the conducive videos. Hamza even says on his main channel, there's no point in watching his videos if you're not going to use it, right? Because knowledge is useless without application. So our equipment is, we draw knowledge from books, we draw them from podcasts, we listen to conversations with our elders. If you're fortunate to have wise elders, we bring out the wisdom from the resources that are there for us. And in doing so, we take care of ourselves. The way in which we apply this to ourselves is we continue to act on the principles of self-improvement, self-development, whatever you'd like to call it. We hone in on those pillars. We take care of them and the people around us that matter to us, and in turn, they will take care of us. So now we move on to the main effort, detachment. So I've just droned on about how we can build holistic principles within ourselves to basically give us like the edge, right? Give us the edge, because like it or not, guys, we are in an environment where we are, honestly, in my personal opinion, we are at war. And I've said this in one of my previous videos on my channel. I believe we are at war because here we are, a group, right? We are a group of young men and young women who are trying their hardest to live a more fulfilling, holistic life. Okay? We live in a consumer society where the majority of people like to take rather than give. Okay, they believe that value, that the very definition of value to them is, what can I gain? Whereas I hope that the majority of people in this server think this way. The definition of value is, what can I give? What can I give in order to learn and share, which will then allow me to create a more dynamic and a more holistic environment that we are all seeking, right? Because everybody here is after that. Everybody wants to achieve that deep sense of fulfillment. Everybody wants to achieve the idea or the reality of having someone who genuinely loves you for you, right? We want to have friends that truly support us, support our dreams, however big they may be. But in order to do this, we need to also learn how to detach. Because, you see, your mental, energetic, and spiritual space is finite. And all the energy that goes into your thoughts, words, and deeds also is finite. If you waste your energy on actions that bear very little fruit and have a very low return of interest, you're just going to be burning energy and you end up burning out, which in turn leads to a dissatisfied way of existence or dissatisfied life. Okay? So we need to detach from the people that don't serve our mission, people that aren't going to help us in what we currently are seeking after. Okay? Whatever your objective is, if your current social circle or your current plane of existence, your state of existence is not serving that purpose, you need to know how to detach from it. And everybody here, I have faith that everybody here has experienced that to some level, because the sole fact that you have joined this server means that you have signed the contract, you have taken the vow, you have taken an oath to detach from your toxic habits, your bad former ways of living your life. Okay, we've all taken that oath to at least cut down on those negative habits. Okay, exactly. The whole of society, or the majority of society, is in the Jeffrey mindset, because For one, they've forgotten the very essence of what value is, what it means to have value. In order to have value, you must give value, because in order to give, you receive. Understand? Am I making sense here, guys? Do you see how by giving, in turn, we receive? Because if we follow the principle of energy attracts energy, like attracts like, okay, you are naturally going to be surrounding yourself and creating the environment that you aim to achieve. But in order to do that, we must detach first from what we previously were living in. Chris, sorry. What if our own parents don't follow the mission? Okay, so this is actually a very common um, wall that I find many people run into, myself included. So, if your parents aren't on the same program as you, then as as sad as it is, the reality that I had to live with is you have to learn to accept that that is who they are. Okay, if you cannot reason with them, if you cannot get them to understand or see where you're coming from, and if they don't believe it, because this is another part of detachment. Part of detachment is acceptance. As a matter of fact, acceptance is the first step to detachment. So in order to detach from, say, the very hurtful opinions of people that are close to us, and make no mistake, it's actually a lot more common than you think, guys. 9 times out of 10, it's the people who are closest to you who will betray you. And this isn't me trying to give you guys trust issues or anything like that. I'm genuinely just talking, one, from experience and from observation. It's always the people that are closest to you who will judge the most, because they are the people that have known you in your previous states. Therefore, they have more opinions of who you are or who they think you are. Because the more time you spend with them, the more you reveal about yourself. Okay? The more you reveal about yourself, guys, to anybody, gives them more of an opinion. This is just how human beings are. All right? Now, with regards to your parents who have known you since you've been born, well, they're naturally going to have their own opinions. And if you start to change and move in a different direction than the way that they would like to live their lives, or the way that they would like you to live, then the the only the only peaceful resolution is to, one, accept that that is their opinion, but you stay true to your purpose. Because I will say this expression time and time again. In order to elevate yourself, you must separate yourself. Okay? People are not going to understand. People are going to judge you either way. So you may as well do what the hell you want. As long as you are doing it in a manner that is not self-destructive or destructive to other people's, then you can proceed with your mission in peace. And you know that where you're coming from and where you're going to is from a place of holistic um, actualization. That's the word. I almost said actuation. It's actualization. And yeah, exactly. You will find out, especially on this journey, that a lot of the people who you think are your friends are they're just like what I like to call residential sleepers. They're just there, you know? They're asleep when you're putting in the work, but when you make a big breakthrough, they'll suddenly wake up and want to rejoice and celebrate, and then they'll want to bring you out and take part in the activities that sort of grouped you guys together. But the moment you start to say that you are moving in a different pathway, notice how quickly they will jump ship. They will literally eject themselves from your life. And the way that they do that is by judging you and making you seem like you're the reject. Because a lot of people lack humility. And for us, we have to separate ourselves. We have to detach. Okay? Now I'm going to introduce you to a very similar concept that I learned in the military, which is what we actually were taught before we were, whenever we were trained for simulations, any potential operations or exercises, any deployments. We would always be briefed with the intent that the mission is the primary focus. Okay? So the mission is our purpose. The mission is our goal, whatever that may be. Okay? Wherever you are heading in life or wherever you want to head in life, that is your goal. Okay? We have our mission set. And then within the mission, we have a list of all our parameters. Okay? So in the previous lecture, I mentioned that we have a stepwise process in attacking our goals, right? And I refer to this as the mountain. Okay? Just a quick recap. If you visualize you standing at the base of a mountain and looking at the top, if you see the peak, right? That is your goal. If you just focus on the peak, you're going to think, holy crap, how am I supposed to get up there? There's no way I'm going to be able to do this job. This is such a great feat. But if you focus on reaching just level 1 and solely focus on level 1, don't even think about looking above that milestone. You just go to level 1, okay? You've made progress. Then you focus on level 2 and level 3. And before you know it, you're at the peak of the mountain, right? That is how we take that approach to our mission, okay? This is the stepwise process that is broken down in achieving our goal. But the goal and the mission or the grind, the hustle, whatever you want to call it, wherever you are in life, okay? Whether it's getting better grades, whether it's upgrading your current working and living conditions, okay? Whether it's getting that raise, that salary, or if it is something as big as like leaving the country and moving to another country, right? That's the goal. That's the mission. That becomes your sole focus. And then we move into the next subsection, right? So we've got the mission, which is the priority. Then it's the men, okay? The people that are involved in that transition, the people that are involved in us achieving that goal, okay? Once we've identified our mission, we then learn about the people that are going to be involved, including ourselves. And this is the part which so many people get caught up on, even myself from time to time, okay? Because we put emotional attachments to things as human beings, right? It's normal, but it is also our greatest weakness. This is the part, guys, where I really would like you, in hindsight, when you're listening back on this lecture, or even now, if you can, I really want you to think deep about this aspect. This is the part where we must focus on detachment and being willing to detach. Gonna pause very quickly to answer Ronan's question. So his question is, can you expand more on visualization and how it can exponentially affect our accomplishments by producing more of a positive outlook and how you put it into practice? Okay. So to answer your question, Ronan, yes, I will. I will make a video. I'll make a video and I will post it into the server. Okay? Just because this is quite a big sort of element to focus on, and I've got a few visualization techniques that I use myself, and I can share that with you guys at a later date. Okay? Resuming. So this is the area where we must be able to detach. Now, you see, talking from a lecture perspective, it's very easy for me to just explain my train of thought. I'd like you guys to visualize this if you can, all right? I'd like you all to visualize yourselves as a ball of light, all right? You're a ball of light in space, right? Or just like a dark room, okay? You're the singular like flicker or flame. And now you're moving forward towards a goal, okay? You know where your goal is. You're just constantly pushing forward and advancing towards your goal. And as you are passing your goal, you start to notice little specks of light sort of gravitating to your your flame, right? And you're continuing on this journey. And then as you pass certain goalposts or milestones or pillars, however you'd like to quantify it, you notice that those specks either change in color or they fall off completely. Those specks right there are the people in our lives, right? Nothing in this world, guys, is permanent. Everything is impermanent. In the words of the monk, the Buddhist monk in the server, Mr. Bante Varapano, he always stresses in all of his lectures that nothing is permanent. Everything is impermanent. And when you really take this analogy, you take this expression to heart, it becomes so much easier to digest because it's also practiced in Stoicism, right? Memento mori, which means, roughly translated, it means remember death. One day we are all going to leave this planet. So when it comes to achieving our goals, we must live for the moment. Okay? Mikhail's okay, everyone except for Mikhail. He's gonna live to become the next like forerunner. um but yeah, everything is impermanent, guys, all right? And when we realize this, it becomes that much easier to detach. Okay. Early on in the lecture, I spoke about like my uncle Mike, for example. Okay. He's a phenomenal man, heart of gold, but eventually he will leave this earth. And the part that sort of keeps that makes the difference, rather, that makes the difference between, living a life of um, fulfillment, whether it's on that spiritual wave or living a life in disarray and staying stuck on the negatives of life, the difference between a glass half empty and a glass half full is that very same expression. And believe it or not, this is something that we practice in the military. Something as simple as that. Something as simple as remember death. Because, I mean, we even signed on the contract when you join that, you you are signing a declaration knowing that in the event that there is a conflict, you will be called upon, and you could be in a situation where you are faced with they give it a very PC terminology, but they say something like, oh, you could be maimed, injured, or experience the loss of life. I mean, basically they're saying you could die, right? And when you realize that is exactly the essence of the essence of life, is understanding that at the end of life comes death. And death is nothing to be afraid of, my friends. Okay? That is the second part. So the first part is understanding the inevitability of impermanence and death. The second part is to accept it. Because once we accept, only then can we really fully detach. Okay? You can semi-detach when you understand that, okay, at the end of life comes death. But in order to truly, fully move away from that, you must understand that this is just a part that we must all take. And eventually it will, it's okay, because people died before we came into this earth. People are going to die long after we're gone. And it's not something to be afraid of. Okay? I want to focus a little bit more on ways in which we can detach. Ube, yeah, I will bring people up. Yes, there will be a segment where you guys can have, you can give your opinions, and even there'll be a little Q&A segment afterwards. So just want to focus a little bit on the aspect of detachment. Okay, there are different ways that you can practice detachment. All right, I know I just gave a very like spiritual and philosophical um, way or method of practicing detachment. There are other ways that you can really focus on detaching, because there are levels, right? There's levels to life. So, for example, I think someone said that they needed to stop. Uh, they needed to basically like deal with their one-itis over some girl. and this is probably one of the easiest yet the most emotionally sort of crippling ways. Okay, because you really have to fight back that inner sense of desperation. Okay, because that is a semblance of desperation for one person. Okay, which ultimately stems with some sort of emotional trauma. Okay, and I mean, I'm not going to get too deep into that. This is just something that needs to be addressed. All right, because what that is right there is an unhealthy attachment to the person. Now, a way that we can get past that is, one, by reducing contact. Okay, reduce contact with the person. You need to really exercise discipline. This is where discipline is going to be your best friend. Discipline will take you to places that motivation won't. Okay, by exercising discipline, you make the conscious effort to reduce contact with this person. And I mean, whether it's like shadow blocking them or completely blocking them off on your socials, removing their numbers, um, even when it comes to like face-to-face social interaction. If that's the only interaction you have with that person, then that's fine. But if you're truly trying to move away from that presence you're in, that state of being you're in, because it's a very disempowering stance to take, all right? And if you, let's just say, if you ever want to have a hope of having some sort of success with the other person, you need to come from a neutral point of power, or you need to have the upper hand. Okay? You cannot ever enter a relationship, especially if you're a young man. You cannot ever enter a relationship, guys, when you are from a disempowered position. And I know there might be someone here who might be like, oh, but hold on, SK. You might be able to do that because, like, my big brother, like, met like a dime a dozen or whatever. Yeah, that's because she's a dime a dozen. Okay? No, no female in today's day and age, right, especially with the current movements going on, is going to want someone who is emotionally weaker than them, who is going, or, you know, disempowering means like someone who's exactly like, if you're simping after a girl, if you come from a position where you're just emotionally fragile, where you're just very emotional, you cry a lot. There's so many different factors there, okay? But we're talking about characteristics. You need to be someone who's, take it easy, Schizo. Thank you for tuning in. Exactly. It's like simping, but like on really soppy, like really like shitty grade steroids, right? So you're just basically like this unstable little bitch with no mental drive whatsoever. Like the moment that they try and throw you, the moment they throw like a shit test your way, you just fold, you just fumble, right? And yeah, that's one element that really needs to be exercised. So you stop by withdrawing your contact, you take your power back, and then you start focusing on, well, yeah, like this the self improvement. I mean, without it sounding like a cliche, because pretty much every sort of let's just say every sort of medication to the symptom is to work on yourself. Okay, Mikhail, pause. That's a bit mad, but yeah, exactly, bro. So for anyone here who's saying that they're suffering with one-itis, or they have they have an attachment style that they're just not happy with, I highly recommend that you read Attached by Amir Levine. Okay, this is one of the core fundamental books to understanding yourself. All right, and this is something that you really have to keep in mind. So that's one element of detachment. Amir Levine. I will spell it for you. It is Amir Levine. I think it's like that, right? So Dr. Amir Levine. If you just go on Amazon and just type in attached, it'll be like one of the first things that come up. One of the first books that come up. This book, honestly, guys, well and truly saved my emotional space. It saved my emotional frame because I naturally resonate from an anxious attachment style due to my own like personal traumas and everything. This book helped me understand it and is now helping me reframe it. And once you reframe that, you take your power back. Once you take your power back, you can detach. You see the trend here, guys? It all starts with you and ends with you. Even if the goal is external, everything must begin internally. And the same principle applies to pretty much every facet of life. Another, I'd say, less conventional way, but this is probably the point that has the most effect. If we were to think of each methodology as a skill, and then sort of each sort of exposure or each practice is like experience to level up that skill, right? The next methodology would be just pure exposure. If you expose yourself enough to something that is detrimental to you, naturally you will build up a tolerance to it, right? I would say take this with a pinch of salt because, again, if you're not mentally or emotionally strong, this could really fuck you up. And from my personal experience, I would say like my ability to detach from death, for example, has only been bolstered because I've seen so much of it. Right now, the same sort of principle applies to someone who's like emotionally abused. I'm not saying that in order to sort of deal with and like sort of boost your resilience to emotional abuse that you need to put yourself in a position where you're just deliberately getting abused. What I'm saying is every time that it happens, you make the conscious awareness that you are developing a resistance to this. When you develop a resistance to this, it's easier to detach, right? We'll bring it back quickly to relationships. I mean, think about the time that you've been with a girl, if you've had a girlfriend, right? And like this is before you sort of like discovered the whole your Jeffrey ways and identified them as that and everything, right? Um, Girls ever just sort of turned around and said, "Oh, you know, you like nothing changed," right? Some people say, "Oh, you did change," but other times they'll say, "Oh, nothing changed. Nothing ever happened." Oh, Mikhail, rip. Um, I'm not sure if we unjeffrey him or two Jeffreyed people. Okay, right, leave it. Okay, we'll leave that. He can watch the lecture when it's done. Should we give him a second chance? To be fair, I wasn't even really following what was going on. All right, let's bring Mikhail back. He said, just don't talk to people. My man over here, man. Okay, here we go. Can't remember. Excuse me. All right, Mikhail, you're back, I think. Um, cool. I lost my train of thought. God damn it. What was I saying? I was talking about. Oh yeah, detachment. Detachment and building resilience. So I'm not saying deliberately put yourself in a position where you're going to be hurt, unless, of course, you have the mental and emotional fortitude to withstand it, right? Because experience is the best way to gain experience. Experience breeds uh, experience, really. You know, that is the most valuable currency when it comes to having experience to qualify for something. So, yeah, you're right. I'm just gonna do this now. So, that's what we do, right? We can put ourselves in a position where we're just constantly engaging with the thing we're trying to detach from, because the more you engage, as long as you've got the mindset that this is something that doesn't serve you anymore, you will see more and more reasons to move away from it, right? But then also making sure that you're constantly working on yourself and reevaluating your values, your standards, and making sure that this is something that you actually want. Now, the same principle can be applied in just pretty much any aspect of life. Okay. Does everybody understand it so far? I haven't lost anyone, I hope. Understand. Good, 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 good. Goody. Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, I think I've more or less just given my sort of outlook on detachment. Now, I'd like to invite a few people up to the stage to give, their thoughts, their opinions, either on the lecture here or any sort of tips that they might have for the forum here on how they can um, detach, how they can move from detachment. Batty, I'm going to be honest with you. No. So today was was right off the cuff. So I'm not sure if you were here earlier when I kind of started off the lecture. Um, so I just received some news about my uncle, and it just kind of like brought this thought to life. Just kind of brought this thing to mind about just how important it is to detach, because the reality is that very soon I will lose someone that I care very dearly for, and like all I can say is from like the younger me that would have sort of fallen into like this like mini state of depression or disarray. Um, Thankfully, due to the principles that I've learned, etc., I've been able to detach from the very human, but also the without sounding horrible, it's like the disabling emotion, right? Of course, when it comes to something like bereavement or something happens, if you're sad, uh, feel what you feel, but stay on task, right? Because again, life must go on, and that's more or less the summary of this, and we just discussed a little bit of detachment. But anyways, enough of me. Let's bring some people up to the stage. So the first person here is Ube. Ube, my friend, I'd like to welcome you to the stage.
Yo, can you hear me?
Hey, bro, how's it going, man?
Hey,
Yes, I
it's
hear you.
good. First of all, I want to thank you for the amazing lecture uh, and for the previous other lectures. I really love your lectures. I love your analogies. So yeah, I just wanted to say that first of all. And
Thank you, man.
yeah, so I wanted to get back to the memento mori um, part, where you said, okay, so you can detach by the fact that death is inevitable.
Hmm.
I personally have been thinking a lot about the fact that, my actions are kind of pointless when death, is inevitable. How would
Ah.
someone deal with that?
Okay, so you're touching on the philosophy of nihilism, correct?
Yeah,
Okay. So this is also something that um that's quite that I've been quite versed in because yeah, this is actually a really interesting one. So you have a choice, right? And this is I suppose this is what it all boils down to, right? Every single lecture that's delivered on the stage comes down to you have a choice. Um
yeah,
you can choose the path of least resistance and get to your destination, or you can choose a path of the most resistance and still get to your destination, right? Ultimately, inevitably, it doesn't really matter when you take those things into account. I would say
yeah.
you as a person, it comes down to your mindset, your goals. What do you want to Let me ask you this. What do you want to be remembered for when you leave this world?
Obviously, a lot of good things. I want to
Hmm?
help people. Want to help myself, obviously, achieve things that will live on after I've passed away.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you think that by adopting a mindset of, well, who cares, right? Do you think
Mm,
that's going to help you achieve your goal, or
no.
by adopting, yeah, by adopting a different mindset, whatever they may be, something with like goals and structure and
Yeah,
milestones, etc.
yeah, definitely a mindset of reaching these milestones.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all relative, right? There is
Mm,
this is the thing, right? Even though we discuss all these things in the lecture about how to how to think this way or how to adopt this mentality or how to detach, right? There is
yeah.
no right or wrong way to live. That is I guess like the it's almost like imagine if imagine if life was like one massive Discord server and you're looking through the rules. Rule number 1 would be there is no right or wrong way to live. You can
Oh, yeah,
you
I
can,
get your point. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, like you
Um
said, you have a choice. Essentially, the end output, or I guess the result is the same. It's just about how you live your life, I guess.
Precisely. And the irony of it is when you the simple fact that you make that sort of declaration means that you've already started detaching because
Mm,
it doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter who uh, or what sort of happens. Just
yeah,
what you want to do with your life. That right there detaches you from the majority of society, the world, and anyone who may have their own opinions, right?
yeah, yeah. That's it's a simple, I guess concept, but the way you explain it, it made me think of it, in another way. So yeah, love it.
Oh, I'm glad, man. Honestly, truly, thank you for saying that because when I sort of like deliver these lectures and when I make my videos, etc., I want to promote, I want to encourage, sort of expanded thinking outside the
Yeah.
box.
Bro, but
Um,
you're totally doing it, man. Like I said, I love your not videos. I love your lectures. I always look forward to them, and I'm speaking for everyone. I think that your lectures are really insightful.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man.
No problem, brother.
Most welcome. All right. So, did you have anything
No, I don't
else to
have
say
anything else. I
before?
just want to say thank you again. Thank
Oh
you for the
no,
lecture. Thank you for bringing me up, and yeah,
you're welcome,
that's
man.
that's everything.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Ube.
bro.
Let's get some Adonises for Ube, guys. Genuinely appreciate the kind words, guys. Okay. So, I did say I wanted to keep this lecture somewhat short. So I'll bring a few more people up, and then we're gonna call it there because your boy has to go and eat. All right, Swagger Boy. Let's bring you up, my friend.
Oh, hello.
Hey, Swagger, what's up, bro?
Uh, what's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, good to hear. I want to say first, thank you for the lecture. It was very interesting. And I'm very sorry about your situation that you were talking about. And I hope everything turns out well.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the kind words. It's just part of life,
Uh,
man.
yeah. Uh, some people say death, life comes after death. So yeah, that's kind of dumb. But
Of course.
anyway, I have a question about the military. That's okay.
Yeah, send.
So when I go to town, there is like some sort of military base or something like that where soldiers go, and sometimes they go on the trains and buses there. And anyway, some you don't know if that's them, but sometimes they are in uniform, and it's obvious that they're soldiers. And I was just wondering, how do you, as like somebody that goes to house high school, how do you like approach them? Like, do you have to show respect? Do you just nod your head? Do you say hello? Or do you just treat them as strangers?
So, so this is a funny one. So, soldiers, just like you, just like your parents, just like your friends at school, they're humans too. And even though we may wear a different, we wear a uniform that looks fancy or looks different or whatever it is, we're human beings with our our own thoughts and emotions. Honestly, if you want to say hi, just go up to them and say hi like you would to a normal friend. Chances are they'd actually appreciate it more because a lot of the time it depends. Whereabouts are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
I am from Croatia.
Croatia. Okay, so if the military is like really strict there, then they probably don't get much interaction with you know civilians or like the outside world while they're working or in uniform. So you just say hello, man. Honestly, it's just the same principle as if you were to approach a girl. You just start with hello.
Oh, okay, thank you. There was a question that recently popped up into my mind.
Okay.
I really didn't think about it, but ever since I joined this Discord, I found that you're a soldier, and that's something that's been on my mind lately. So yeah, thank you. It was kind of a short question, not really related to the lecture, but thank you for helping.
No, no, absolutely, man. More happy to help. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, of course. Talk to you later.
All
Bye.
right, take care, man. Thank you, Swagger.
Take care.
Oh, man. Yeah, guys, if you have any sort of like questions about the military, if you're someone who's looking to join, then if you have any questions, please just like don't hesitate to ask. What the hell? Why did Hell's Angels get Jeffried? God, you guys, man. We're gonna have to do something about this Jeffrey bot. Okay. Yeah, so if you have any questions about, the military life or anything like that, feel free to shoot your questions across to me and I will answer in this time. If you have anything to discuss about detachment, etc., then please feel free to share. All right. Next up, I'm going to invite Ronan. Is he there? There we go. Hey, Ronan, what's going on, man? Ronan, can you hear me? I think your mic's muted, bro. I mean, he joined. I don't know. All right, Ronan. Good talk. We'll get you up here maybe later on. It's like Ronan went into the careers office and I'm the recruiter. I'm like, so why you want to join the military? And he's just like, no. Okay. Mikhail, I see your hand up there, bro. But this... oh, dude, you just start screaming, man. He's got to fix his mic. Okay. Hold on. Zubik, I am speaking. Yeah, I think you might be lagging. Try restarting your Discord. Control R. All right, cool. We'll all right, we'll get back to you, Ronan, after this next person. Okay, just so a few people have an opportunity to speak. All right, Mikhail, I'm gonna go out on a whim here. Okay, I'm gonna invite you up. Please do not spurg out. I'm backing you, bro. You've been invited twice, by who? Say what? All right, don't join then, bro. Did I? I don't remember that. Yo, I must be tripping, man. Damn. The meds are hitting hard today. Yeah, don't get COVID, guys. That shit sucks. All right, I'm gonna invite generic doctor in that case, just to get some more convos rolling.
Hello.
Hey, dude, what's going on?
Nothing much. I'm really enjoying the conversation, and I really wanted to thank you for all of this conversation and wisdom being imparted. You're very well spoken, and yeah, I'm in love with this Discord already.
Oh, thank you, mate. Oh, are you new here?
Yeah. I recently joined like a week ago.
Oh, okay, nice. Hey, guys, get some Adonises for generic, man. We got a new guy in here. We got a new recruit
Ooh.
who's gonna be soon part of the Adonis army. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Nice, brother. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, I'll obviously have this whole lecture uploaded
Mm,
to the Discord, and it will also
mhm.
be on my channel. And yeah, I mean, if you want any more insight to like philosophy or the military, etc., then there's more of that stuff. I'm working on a ton of content to just keep
Definitely,
that coming.
definitely. I
Thanks, man.
wanted to talk to you about there are many different aspects to detachment.
Yes.
Like in the like Sadhguru says, detachment doesn't mean non-involvement. You can be deeply involved but not entangled. And I think
Yes.
detachment is about removing the complexities in your life because the road to the top, to the peak of the mountain is already complex and you find a lot of hurdles and barriers to jump in the way. So I guess um, my question is it has a lot of different aspects. Like you can be detached from people's you can't control the response to what people say to your words and actions, but you can control your own words and actions. So that's a different side of detachment. So my question is it all the same skill, or like I don't know. I think that it's very important to have that skill in your life and very different aspects. So I guess it doesn't really impact fuck, I lost my train of thought, but
I think I understand what you're saying. So you're
yeah.
asking with the different sort of layers of detachment. So I see that you also are a student of Sadhguru's teachings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Definitely.
cool, man. It's nice to meet someone who follows the sort of the teachings and the principles. Because yes, exactly. I didn't want to get too deep with it within this lecture because I didn't think honestly that there'd be many people who'd be like, oh shit, like Sadhguru. But um, it's yeah, it is like the same principle I suppose. Same principle, and it all depends on your level of involvement. Because, like it says, you can definitely, you can definitely be involved, but the idea of getting entangled in and like caught up in the drama, basically, that's what it means. So even for something like this, for example, I'll use myself as the example. Okay, something quite sad as we understand it as humans is happening, right? In the sense that that there is someone who is close to me who is nearing the end of their natural life. Now, while it is sad, yes, I will allow myself to feel said sadness, but I do not get caught up in the drama of, oh my god, my uncle's gonna go, woe is me. We're not gonna be able to have our conversations with like I remember when I was younger and start reminiscing and getting upset. Now I understand it's a very touch and go subject because a lot of people won't be able to detach on that level. But that's where like meditation, mindfulness, really delving deep into spirituality helps you come to those realizations, and then you can make those decisions a lot easier. It also, it just, it's all the same, bro. It's all the same. Um, the depth of detachment, I would say, relates to the depth of the situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't want to take too long. So I remember what I wanted to say. It was a quote by Gabriel Marcel. It
Yes.
said that detachment must not be mere amputation. Everything which is shaken off must be simultaneously found again at a higher level. So
Oh, absolutely. Wow, I love that. Do you know I haven't even, who said that? Gabriel Marcel.
yeah, Gabriel Marcel.
Wow. That's the first time I'm hearing that quote. So I've learned something new today. Thank you for that. I'm going to look that
Of
up
course.
after this lecture.
And I'll definitely look the book up, Attached by Amir Levine. That's very interesting.
Oh yeah. Definitely must read for anyone that's on the path of self-betterment in whatever way, shape or form. The only way you can change the world around you is to change from within, and that book takes you right to the core of your being.
Mhm.
100%.
Thanks a lot, man. Seriously.
No, you're welcome, brother. Thank you for coming up.
My pleasure.
All right, man. Take it easy.
You too, man. See you.
Some real based people in the server, that's for sure. Okay, so last couple. All right, Ronan, you good? You ready to chat? Let's bring Ronan up.
Yo,
Hey, Ronan, what's up, man?
it was good.
Good to have
I
you.
wanted to ask. Oh wait.
Sorry?
I
Can you?
wanted to ask right quick. How do you detach from failure? Because I know a lot of times on this path of self betterment, self improvement, you
Hmm.
can fail a lot, which is a part of the process. But how do you not get caught up in that failure and learn how to like look forward to the more positive outcomes in life?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you like the first sort of story with myself that came to mind. Yeah. So couple weeks ago, like what, 2 weeks back, um, I relapsed on NoFap, and I felt the sense of like disappointment at first, but then the way that I detached from that emotion of like almost like self hatred or failure, the way to detach from that works for me personally is acceptance, right? You gotta accept that you you you're only human, man, right? And when you look at failure as sort of like a pass or fail dynamic, right? You either pass or you fail. Then you're always going to live in that duality. But if you just sort of like sit in the middle and just say, you know what, it's okay. This happened, right? Especially when you realize that you put so much effort into like success, you start to then realize that that failure is actually a stepping stone to success, right? Because
Yeah.
either way, from point A, where you sort of like started towards your objective, and then when you reach the point where you know, quote unquote failed, you still gained experience, right? So you still gained something, you still won something. So you apply that principle and you start looking at failure as like it's like a negative thing. Failure is not a bad thing, bro.
Yeah. Uh, I've pictured this thing in my mind like self improvement is kind of like a ladder, right?
Yes.
And you're climbing up the ladder, and say like you fail on one aspect of self improvement. Let's say, yeah, no fap, right?
Hmm?
You don't it's kind of like you don't go back down the ladder because you don't lose all your progress on everything, right? It's kind of like you just stay on that one section of the ladder, yet you're still looking ahead.
100%, bro.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like even Hamza's said in his videos, you know, guys who. So this is another thing. You've also got to take into consideration that your relationship with failure directly relates to your relationship with yourself. Okay, and
Mhm.
and this is what I mean. If you are setting yourself like boundaries that are steering you towards failure, so you can then like hit that, you know, like almost like hit that dip, and then you then like have that thought of, yeah, see, I told you you were gonna fail. So if you're like, oh yeah, so I'm gonna go like cold turkey no fap for 90 days, like shit bust, and let's just say you get to like day 73 or whatever, and then you fap, and then you feel like, oh, I'm a failure, like look, I lost and everything, and then you've got that voice in the back of your head that's your subconscious saying, yeah, see, I knew you weren't gonna do it, I knew you weren't shit, I knew that you couldn't, like you don't have it in you. Then you're just gonna naturally have this like very self-deprecating outlook, whereas like we just said, you know, you yes, okay, you fell down, but before you fell down, you took all these steps, man. You walked up that mountain, and then you kind of like had a little stumble, but then you get up, you dust yourself off, and you continue. So what if your clothes are a little dirty? You're still gonna make it to the top of the mountain. You can fall 50,000 times. Doesn't matter. Get up 51,000 times. You know?
Yeah.
That's how
I
I
feel you.
detach.
Okay, for sure. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
No, you're most welcome, man. Thank you for stepping up. Man, Ronan came in with some based questions, man. Let's get some Adonises for Ronan. Adonises for everyone who turned up, to be honest, man. I genuinely wasn't expecting that many people to turn up, because the lecture was just kind of like off the cuff and last minute. I didn't really plan it out. So even with this aspect, I didn't really plan it out, guys. Yeah, thanks for everybody just coming in and showing up. All right, I will take two more. I think I saw the Redemption. Redemption said he wanted to say something, so let's invite him or her up.
I'm a guy. I'm a guy.
Well, what's up, bro?
No girl.
Sorry, I just don't want to. I don't want to assume.
Thanks, man. All the way down from Austria, Central Europe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But that's kind of interesting because I heard you talked something about the guru. Then I heard Ronan asking some questions, and I thought to myself, you know, the thing with me is I'm not really a talker. I mean, right now you hear me talking with like no problems at all, but I prefer to have my space. But I also have learned with time, you just have to, talk, you have to say some shit, because otherwise you're pretty much a dead man.
Yeah.
Anyways, so what I want to say about detachment, I think I agree with what you said on the guru, and I agree with the other things I've said, but I think detachment, I'm going to be going very depth, but I'm trying not to get as long, depending on if you have time or if you're not. But I think detachment firstly starts personally. Like, it's a thing that's it's personally impersonal. It's like you
Mm.
do it for your personal reason, but the process in itself is subjective. It has no emotion in itself. I think the most people detach or come into detachment when they have gone through some, I don't know, breakup, traumatic event. I think this is the first time really when you detach, but that's the sort of detachment that's not very good one, because you fall onto dark habits. So I think the best way to do this is take that. So you've learned to deal with that, and you've learned how pain it is, and you've felt this numbness, which is a sort of detachment, but not a good one. So I think after you got that through, either through meditation, through lots of introspection, or for therapy, I doesn't mind. But I think a good way to tackle that is to take that experience, even if it was painful, and try to go back the root, try to find that root, try to find that trigger that builds your detachment. I mean, I agree what you said on the guru, but I think if you find the trigger, what detaches you, and learn to sort of like in a video game, how you can reactivate that trigger,
Mm-hmm.
you learn that detachment with time, and everything else comes with time. Everything else just what you develop by the way. I can say that personally, at least from what I know. I had this many times, right? Even if I talk right now, what I really want to say is I had times, especially my times weren't easy because I have to deal with most of them on my own. And so I know personally pretty well when you're at a breaking point. I was so often at a breaking point, it's not even describable, but I thought to myself, okay, take a step back. You have that hate, you have that fear, and you have that pain inside of you. I just learned to take that and to sort of reactivate that detachment, where it's like right
Oh, hello? Redemption? Can you hear me? Oh no. I think his mic died. Always disconnecting. Yeah, his on the topic of detachment, his connection detached from the server, man. Shit. Rip. Yep. There he goes. Man down. Man down. Oh man. But I mean, everyone that was listening, he's onto something. Go back to the cause. Go back to the root cause, and you find ways to detach from that. Sniper. Yeah, for real. Oh man, I was actually really into what he was saying, man. I was really listening. Shit. You detach so hard. Yeah, exactly, man. Okay, guys. I will take one more, and then I really gotta go get some food. I need to go and chill. Um, hold up. Oh, he's back. He's back. He's back. There we go. There we go. Bro, so what the fuck happened? Um, okay, go ahead. Sorry. The redemption for redemption. Oh, Hello? Oh my. Alright, redemption. Sorry, bro. We're gonna have to sit you down. I'll take one more person, and then it is time for me to wrap this up. I don't know what's going on, man. Mike's just going haywire. Could also be the servers local to where you are. Alright, let's see. Hey yo, we got Johnny Depp here. Oh, okay, Johnny. You should know a thing or two about detachment from your crazy bitch ex-wife. Anybody who needs more context on what I was talking about, just look at Johnny Depp Amber Heard. Redemption, he's back. Okay, Johnny Depp may have fallen asleep, so okay, cool. Last one. Let's go. Redemption.
It works right now. So
Oh
detaching
shit.
about detachment
Hold
being
on, Johnny.
similar to, wait. It said it's similar to withdrawal, and I don't disagree on that point. I was trying to go into detail about that, right? I heard you truly listening, and I appreciate that. It's I'm trying to place myself in others right now, like, but I think detachment, a trigger, you have to find that, right? It's when you get in that mode, it's yes, it's similar to withdrawal. Why? Because you withdraw from the current situation. You don't really focus on the present moment. Your thoughts are more around the future. You are in a state that's similar to being in a flow state, being very focused, but at the same time, you're also in a state that's more similar to when you feel numb. You're in this limbo, if you want so. You're in a limbo. So
Yeah,
you wander in that aimlessly and be like, fuck, man. I
I
don't know
agree.
what to do. So the best thing to do is try to look at from a perspective like you're in a game and you need to go down that rabbit hole. Nothing will happen. Sort of like sleep paralysis. Nothing will really happen. You just need to have mind peace, and you can get mind peace through meditation. But the best thing that has worked for me, and I think will work for others, is that you just go outside in a park, or better yet, you're inside. You try to take a bath. That's the best thing. Take a bath with some oils that are pretty relaxing. Or do what I do. You sit somewhere in a room where you can relax, you can chill down, your body relaxes, you're pretty fine. And then confront yourself with that demon you have, but look at it from an objective way. Look at like it's a dilemma you have to solve. So I have, let's say, 50 apples, and we have to take these 50 apples and bring them into a basket, but we don't have many baskets. We have 50 apples and only 3 baskets, so I need to fill these 3 baskets with the 50 apples and bring them all back in one. Like, you just have one, you just can take these 3 baskets, move back home, and you don't have another try. So what you do is you take these 50 apples, split them, and take them back home. And the same do it
Uh,
with your problems. You view it like it's an objective you have to conquer, not really like something you're engaging in. It's not really the experience you have per se. It's like more you look at it from a perspective where it's like, oh, okay, I'm aware that I suffer, and I'm aware that these are emotions, but I'm not going to pay too much attention to them. You can't avoid them completely. Every
right.
philosophy, every person will say you can't avoid them completely, but you don't give them the attention. And
Okay.
because I really want to make it very clear cut, and I'm also going to deliver it very rawly. Uh, Imagine you have it's sort of giving too much attention to your girl. If you give too much attention, you're fucked. But if you don't give her much attention, but be a complete asshole, you're fucked too. So what you do is you don't give complete attention. You're also not going to show any much interest, but you're going to be sincere. And I
Yeah.
think it's the biggest key factor to detachment, which so many people miss, is sincerity. It doesn't matter how much you detach, you need some sincerity in yourself. You need to, I don't know, go take a cold shower, do whatever, and say to yourself, okay, that's fine. I know this sounds like toxic positivity, but what I mean by that is,
Redemption. Don't mean to cut you off here, man, but we're kind
yes,
of
sorry.
we're
I'm
going
going
off
to
on a
make it,
tangent here. We're just
sorry.
we're
I'm
just
going to
spinning
make it
out.
quick.
Okay,
Right.
it's
So
all good.
just going to
Just wrap it up,
just
please.
like need to be in line with yourself. Sounds weird, but be in line with yourself. Be
Mhm.
okay that you're like experiencing that, and then everything will work for you from that point
Perfect.
on.
Thank you. Thanks, Redemption. Thanks for your input, man.
You're welcome.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right. All right. Sweet. Last one, Johnny. I know you wanted to come up. Sorry, bro. Let's bring you up here. Yeah, public speaking is a skill, guys. You know, and sometimes if you don't have enough experience in it, and it's easy to just get lost in the sauce. Johnny, how are you?
Yo, man, what's up?
Good, man. Good. Thank you for being so patient with the queuing up and everything. You're the last guy, so let's hear what you got, brother.
Yeah, I just had a question with the military and
Send it.
another one shorter it with relating to philosophy.
Okay,
But I'm gonna start with the military one.
go for it.
I had a plan to after school when I'm done in 2 years to join up with the military, but
Okay.
I did realize that the reason I was doing that was mostly for financial gain because the military here gives you like fucking crazy money. Like we're talking doctors here earn 4K and like soldiers earn 5,000 to 6,000.
What? Where? What? Where are you
Like
right now? What the?
like if you like in Germany
Yeah.
if you go to like school and you finish school at a high grade, like at a high level, you can sign up for to become sort of like I can describe it good, but it's like sort of like a higher grade soldier where you like have some privileges and shit, and you make a lot of money pretty much. But like
Okay.
but it's like heavy on the contracts and stuff and shit I'm not yet familiar with, so not gonna try to explain shit I don't know. But personally, I would like to know, like, should you join up for the military just because you're looking to do it for the money, or should you have like a personal reason to do it, or like a love for your country or something? Like, what is
Yeah.
more important?
Absolutely not. If you're looking at it from purely a financial incentive, there are much easier and less sort of stress-inducing ways to learn to learn how to make more money, bro. If you're gonna join the military, yeah, I would definitely say you need to have some sort of personal motivation that stems beyond financial. If you are patriotic and you know have a love for your country, that definitely helps a lot. Because so I don't know like the ins and outs of the German military. I've done an exercise with the German forces before, and they're pretty cool guys. What I will say though, one thing that I have noticed that's kind of like universal within all soldiers in the like the military worldwide, there's a lot of bullshit. There is a lot of mundane bullshit that you will deal with, and if you don't have a very good reason why, you're gonna absolutely hate your service. Because bear in mind, once you've signed the contract, you know, like over here in the British Army, it's 4 years minimum before you can leave. So imagine that 4 years of your life getting locked into a job that you hate if you don't actually have like a, you know, like an actual plan. Definitely don't do it just for money, bro.
Nah, like that you just triggered like what the guy was explaining to me about, like the actual job that pays you the 5 to 6K, which sounds crazy to the normal guy. It's
Yeah.
actually a 10-year contract. It's like a 10-year
Yeah.
it's like a
That's
10-year
why.
contract, and that's fucking crazy long.
Yeah.
Even like, and the thing after that 10-year contract where you get the job, you get to quit, and you still like get the privileges, like the benefits of being a veteran.
Yeah. So
But
that's the yeah.
after that, there is also a second period of the contract where if there is a war, like you have to go, like they will force you. Like if you don't go, like you will get sent to jail.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar situation over here. I mean, you do get the benefits of like once you reach a certain amount of time, you get what's known as veteran status, and then veteran status then gives you like the medical like benefits and dental care and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, bro, 10 years is a long time, bro. That's a decade. I'm guessing you're like what, 17?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 17. So let's say you did this hypothetically, bro. You're only gonna like, and if you did join like 2 years from now, so you'd be 19. You'd only be able to leave and like fulfill like that part of the contract at 29. And like a lot can happen. A lot can happen like within that time. So definitely something that you want to really think about carefully before committing to, other than just for financial reasons. You said you had a philosophy question as well?
Yeah. Like, would you say that it is possible after committing to the whole self-development philosophy that Hamza talks about and stuff, would you say that it is possible to develop quick gratification, sort of speaking, of those habits that you do in self-development? Like for instance, I'm kind of addicted to the gym right now, and it's gotten to the point where I will just say fuck it to my program and just go every single day, even though it makes no sense, just because it makes me feel good and makes me feel forget about problems in my life, even though I make no gains because of it, because I skip rest days.
Okay. Yeah, so I know what you mean there. So you're like kind of just hitting the gym just for the sake of hitting the gym without actually like resting properly, which yeah, so there's definitely like any too much of anything is a bad thing. So even like going to the gym too much, okay, you don't give yourself enough time to rest. Um and if you under recover, right? So there's a misconception that people think that overtraining is the cause of injuries. This is not true. It is under recovery, right? Because once you train, you have a period of time where you need to recover. Now, if you're not doing that, then you're going to basically see a negative return of investment in your lifts, your strength, and overall your gains. Okay, and this will also have like a negative impact and wear and tear on your joints and muscles. So yeah, there is definitely a like an instant gratification sort of like paradox within the pillars of self improvement. Okay, if you get too hooked on it, you can end up like, in an extreme sense, you can end up like really alienating yourself from your friends, the potentials to meet new people, etc. Because you have almost like a god complex. It's something that I actually almost like tipped over to when I was like getting really deep into self improvement. I thought that because I don't drink, I hit the gym regularly, I eat clean, I'm like doing no fap, even though I have like the odd relapse here and there, compared to a lot of my friends here and the majority of people in the society around me. At one point I thought I was better than them, and I became very judgmental, and I became like the opposite, like the extreme opposite of the guy with no friends because he had nothing to offer. I was becoming the guy with no friends because he just thought he was better than everybody. So you have to find the balance.
The thing about what you said about having a god complex, another negative about it is if you truly believe that you're like a good bit better than everybody and like you truly believe that you are very good at those things,
Hmm.
sometimes you get hit with like an objective reality check, and if you truly believe those things, that hurts big time.
Oh yeah,
Like if you're like getting knocked down from your mountain that you were on, supposedly because you were never on that mountain, you only thought you were. Like
Yeah.
that fucking gets you depressed.
Yeah, 100%. That's that is also a very harsh reality that could affect you.
So yeah, actually, those were my questions, and I thank you for answering them in such a throughout manner.
No, you're welcome, man. Thank you for coming up to this onto the stage and posing your questions, man. I appreciate it.
Nah, thank you.
All right, man. Take it easy, Johnny.
All right.
Yeah, let's get some Adonises for Johnny, guys. Get some Adonises for everybody who turned up. So that's gonna be the end of the lecture, guys. Thank you for showing up on a relatively short notice. I know it was like barely a
Bro, you
day's
can't forget
notice.
about me, bro. You can't forget about me, bro.
Mikhail, what the fuck? Who's inviting you up into the stage, man? How are you getting up here?
You invited me.
Yeah, that was like ages ago, and then you got Jeffrey like 6 times. Jesus.
Bro, why are you ending this? This is fun.
It's
Keep this
fun
going.
because it's time for me to go and like take my meds and go to sleep, man, and have some
Nah,
food.
nah. You don't need food.
Okay,
Nah,
listen,
keep
you got a
this up.
question?
Yeah.
One last
Why?
quick question. Send it.
Okay. When did you get into the military?
I joined when I was 18.
18!
Yeah.
How long have you been?
I left at 27, so like going on
9
yeah, like
years.
9 years.
Hey, that's crazy. How old are you?
I'm 28 now.
Wait.
Yes, we do have girls in the military, so
Hey.
this guy. All right, what's
Hey,
your
let's
question,
go.
bro?
Oh, yeah, I thought I said my question.
Was that the question?
No.
Okay, Mikhail.
Okay. Fuck, no. Shit, I know. Why are you yeffering so many people?
Me, I'm not the one that's
Yes.
jeffering. You do know
I'm just
there are
kidding.
the other mods here too, right? And
Oh, yeah.
other people
Another
are
question.
reacting with the Jeffrey emotes. Go on.
Another question. When am I going to get my mod?
Get your
Bro, I need mod. Yo,
uh
DM me like 5 cents right now. 5 cents. Come on, bro.
you DM me 5 cents. Oh shit, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
5 cents. 5 cents. I
well
have
now
3,000,
you
bro.
said it.
Please, bro.
Yeah,
Please.
just keep doing what you're doing and I'm sure you'll get up there, bro. All right.
I love you, lecturers, guy. I love you all.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. That's Mikhail. All right. We're all good. So that's the end of the lecture.